Whoa, whoa, whoa there. You look a little stressed out. I think I have something that can help you with that.
Yeah, and what's that?
Acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT for short.
ACT. What's that? Some kind of new energy drink or something?
No, you kumquat. It's a type of therapy. Let me tell you about it. ACT is short for Acceptance and Commitment Therapy, ACT. It's part of what's known as the third wave of behavioral therapies. In the early 1980s, Dr. Stephen Hayes and some colleagues noticed some limitations in many of the hot and popular therapeutic approaches of the time, namely cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which was already well established. Traditional CBT focused on identifying distorted thoughts and challenging or changing them. But Hayes began noticing something important in both research and his own life. Trying to control or eliminate painful thoughts and emotions often made them stronger. Hayes himself struggled with panic attacks. During one episode, he realized that his attempts to fight anxiety were actually intensifying it. That personal experience became a turning point. Instead of asking, "How do I get rid of these thoughts?" he started asking, "What if the problem isn't the thoughts themselves, but my relationship to them?" Some of the influences on the formation of ACT therapy can be seen in mindfulness practices, Buddhist psychology, and existential philosophy. Basically, ACT was born when behavioral science met mindfulness and asked a radical question: what if the goal isn't to eliminate suffering, but to build a meaningful life alongside it?
That's cool and all, but how does that all work?
I'm glad you asked. Dr. Hayes has some important things to say about this. Dr. Hayes says that as a culture, we seem to be dedicated to the idea that negative human emotions need to be fixed, or even managed, or changed. He believes that we treat our lives as problems to be solved instead of solving our problems. He believes we can shift into a different mindset. The way we primarily do this is through acceptance, mindfulness, and shifting our attention to value-aligned actions. This is how it works. Here we have the ACT toward away chart. In the center is the choice point, and to the right and left are different options that you could choose.
Nice chart. Where'd you get it? The dork store?
On the right, you have things that help you make good choices and keep you focused, which would be towards the values that you hold for the life that you want to lead. And on the left, we have what ACT therapy calls hooks, which are things that hold you back or trip you up. In other words, move you away from the values that you hold or the life that you would like to lead. In ACT therapy, too tight pants. The view of pathology is this, that we all have negative thoughts and emotions. And this is called a hook, because it can hook you if you're unaware of it and drive you into actions that do not align with your values.
Like punching trees?
Yeah, like punching trees, or drinking when you feel nervous, or any other thing that people do to not feel their negative emotion.
Oh.
Don't interrupt me. So, how does ACT strive to deal with this? Well, it teaches that people should accept their emotions instead of running from them, and accept them for what they are. ACT therapy's view on wellness is that people can grow in mental and emotional resilience and flexibility through accepting that life is just full of hard things and there is nothing we can do to change them. So, it's about accepting the hard things in life in a way that produces mental and emotional flexibility, in a way that moves you towards a more, richer way of life. So, it's not so much about managing symptoms. It's a little more about assessing behaviors and looking at behaviors and seeing if they're leading towards a richer way of life. Actually, maybe this will help. The core tenets of ACT therapy can be seen in something called a hexaflex, or the 6 core principles of ACT therapy. It starts with acceptance. This means to make space for uncomfortable thoughts and emotions rather than fight them. Then there's what's called cognitive diffusion. This is where you step back, so to speak, from your thoughts and emotions and notice what you're thinking and feeling. These things are merely language or mental events that pass through your mental space, not absolute truths or commands.
Sounds groovy.
Groovy. Groovy indeed. Next is present moment awareness. This is where we focus on the here and now with openness and curiosity. We don't worry about the past or the present. After this, we connect with the context of the self, or we observe ourselves. This can be done through connecting to our body through our senses, often focusing on the space around us through our felt perception of it. The key is to separate from our thoughts, feelings, or roles. We take on an observer perspective. Once we do this, it's time to look at our values. Here we can clarify what matters to us and who is the person we want to be.
Well, I'd like to not be a tree puncher.
None of us do, buddy. None of us do.
That's great and all, but how does it integrate with my faith? I'm what's known as a Jesus freak.
Actually, ACT therapy melds rather well with being a Jesus freak, or any kind of freak.
Cool.
Yeah, ACT therapy is actually really flexible when it comes to these considerations, religion and culture and whatnot, different faith backgrounds. In cultures where they experience mental strain more somatically because mental health is tabooed, the principle of step of connecting with one's body to understand why it feels the way it does perhaps can lessen guilt or apprehension as it relates to cultural stigma. It can be worked to align in a person's values if they come from a more collectivist background. Remember, we mentioned values and toward moves. Well, for people who value their community, they can choose to do so through this.
That seems to be really culturally adaptable.
It really is, and this is because ACT therapy likes to stray away from the one-size-fits-all approach, and it's really tailored to the individual.
One size fits all? Like your suit?
Why, I oughta. Now, about being a Jesus freak.
Great.
ACT therapy actually integrates pretty well with the Christian faith. It teaches that the value of surrender and acceptance is pretty high up there. It's important for ACT therapy. It also is value driven. So in practicing this, you actually become more like Christ because you're taking steps towards Christ-like values.
Basically, WWJD.
Exactly. So it actually matches to what Jesus says, well, in John 16:33. It acknowledged that in this life we will have trouble. Meaning, in ACT therapy, we acknowledge that we cannot eliminate pain and suffering, but we can mature and grow because of it. Also, its focus on being present and aware works well with what the Bible calls being still. It allows someone to be present and trust God in the current moment, not worrying over the past or future.
Okay, but how does it differ?
Glad you asked. If not integrated with faith, ACT could be seen as teaching an individual to pursue values that are self-chosen, not necessarily aligned with the teachings of Jesus. There's also always been a pushback in the Christian world against the idea of mindfulness, seeing as its origins tend to not be Christian in nature. It shares a lot of similarities with Eastern-style meditation. It could be argued that it also emphasizes a more self-help perspective rather than one that promotes relying on God. This all, however, is only if the person using ACT therapy does not adapt this to their faith beliefs or values. Remember what I said about it being really individually adaptable in that framework?
No.
Great. How about we try it out?
Sure, I guess.
Perfect. We'll do what's called dropping the anchor. A technique that encompasses many of the tenets of ACT therapy. A, C, E. A, acknowledge what you think or feel. C, connect with your body. And E, engage with the world around you. You all can join too. Prepare yourselves.
Take a moment to just acknowledge the thoughts and feelings that are showing up for you right now. Just notice what your mind is doing. Is it racing, whirring, worrying? Notice what you can feel in your body. Are there some painful feelings in your body, or is it numb or empty? And just take a moment to put into words what it is that you're feeling and thinking. You might say, I'm feeling angry, or here's my mind worrying. Now, come back into your body. Push your feet into the floor, straighten your back, perhaps take a breath or two. Move your arms and legs in some way. Get a sense of control over your arms and legs. For example, maybe gently push your fingertips together. Maybe gently move your feet up and down. Perhaps have a gentle stretch, sense of coming back into your body right now. And now, engage with the world around you. Open your eyes and ears and look around and notice what can you see and hear, what can you touch and taste and smell. So there's a whole world around you right now. There are thoughts and feelings showing up, and there's a body here that you have control over, and there's a world around you that you can engage in. Notice where you are and what you're doing, and consider where do you need to put your attention right now to make the most of this situation that you're in.
Thanks for watching our little video on acceptance and commitment therapy. I hope you all learned a lot, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye. Now that's what I call acceptance and commitment therapy. Call now for this once-in-a-lifetime deal. You'll get not one, not two, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, and not even 10, but all 11 training cassette tapes for the low cost of $9.99 plus $3.50 shipping and handling. Call now at 1-800-123-4567.